So if you play Trackmania, you probably noticed that they released a new mode for the first time in Trackmania 2020. It is called Stunt, and it is confusing a lot of people. This screen is what pops up the first time you play it, and it's a lot of information, and yet still doesn't cover most of what you need, especially for the very first track. So I just wanted to make a quick video to help other people out, since I took a couple hours to try and figure out how all this stuff works. There's still some stuff that's mysterious about point scoring, but I want to try and cover just the basics so that people don't have to, I don't know, have a less enjoyable time playing this game like I did for a few hours. I'm still not completely sold on stunt mode, but I think there's some potential there that was maybe unintended, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So as you can see on the screen, there are parks when there are multiple checkpoints, and then passing a checkpoint gives you a combo timer to perform your stunts, and then there are different type of stunt landings. That's a lot of information to get before even playing, so just getting into the first level is where I saw a lot of streamers get confused the first track. Stunt is back because there's no checkpoints, so all you can do here is make these two jumps and then the finish. I saw a lot of people confused about how to get more points and why only one jump was adding up and all that kind of stuff. So the truth here is that if you're just going for author medal, all you need to worry about is getting a perfect on this jump so that you get a 1.5 multiplier for the second jump, and then just try to do a good 360. Notes for trying to score high, I would say try to do the 360 in a way that you never release steering. It seems like you get more points when you don't release at all, even if you're not going for a multiplier like that. That's kind of not discussed, but yeah, basically the way that the multipliers work is that you just don't hold anything. You don't change what buttons you're holding for a matter of 1 or 3 seconds. So you can be holding any combination of buttons for that period of time. You just can't change them for 3 seconds while you're in the air. But that's only if you're doing some sort of stunt. And again, for this first track, it doesn't really matter because the only multiplier you can get is a perfect. Technically, the world records use other strategies to build up speed, basically up here, so that you can actually get a master multiplier on the first jump, and then you actually bring that back, go back up to the start, and then use that master multiplier to do another 360 off of this first jump. So I do actually, even though that's not at all intended, and it's actually quite hard to get past these anti-boosters right here, I do think that that is probably the future potential for these tracks. I think it's really interesting to have maybe like some true puzzle tracks where people have to figure out how to get a certain score. Anyways, that is something the community will figure out later on. So yeah, because this track does not have any checkpoints, only one stunt will be counted, and that is something that I've been seeing a lot of people miss. So when it comes to tracks with multiple checkpoints, so again, track number 2, same thing, no checkpoints, just do a couple front flips, try to land flat, and you might be able to get an epic multiplier. It seems like, though the epic multiplier doesn't apply to the first stunt, it applies to the stunt after the epic, you still get a higher score for the stunt that got the epic or the master multiplier. This is why it was so confusing for so many people. So track 3 is the first one you actually have a checkpoint on. So as you can see, it starts a little timer at the top, and you have that full timer to do stunts and rack up multipliers. Multipliers do not stack, they only apply to the following stunt. But yeah, you have the full time. Of course, just try it and try to do either 540s, 360s, whatever, without changing your inputs while in the air, and then that'll give you the multipliers. With rally and snow, you typically have to steer later so that they can spin slower, and that'll let you get a smooth epic. Not too hard of an AT there. But when it comes to track, let's see, so track 4 is another one where you just have to get essentially 4 180s in a row. You can get epics on them pretty easily, and that'll get you AT there. Track 5 is the first one that has the park system. So essentially, each one of these routes has their own tracker for points, and they'll all be added up at the end, as well as whatever your highest scoring stunt was. So typically on all these, you can get away with just doing a 180 and hopefully landing as an epic, and then chain that into a, turn around, chain it into another one. Easy enough there. When it comes to multiple checkpoints, but not the park system, this was a pretty confusing map for some people. All of these checkpoints are linked. They're essentially all checkpoint 1. So none of this park really matters if you're trying to go for AT. It's just all you want to do is get an epic, whatever, pretend that was an epic, and then you start and then try to get 3 more epics or something in a row. And that's it. Like, you just have the one timer. The other checkpoints don't matter. You can, of course, play the rest of the park and have fun, but it's not necessarily necessary for the author times. Then track 7 is another park system. Again, just do 180s, 540s, try to get epics. That's all it is. A08 is A08. Well, I mean, what do you want? It's random. I don't know how I got that many points. There's a couple ways you can try to get an epic landing, but it's just chaos. It's A08, Track 9 is pretty tough, but it's pretty easy to chain 180s as well as some barrel rolls. And then track 10 is quite easy as well. Just keep doing your 180s and flips and master landings. That's pretty much it. I think what I covered in the beginning is really what people were most confused about, and why I think a lot of people are probably not interested in this mode right now. I think it has a lot of potential, like demonstrated in track 1. The world record strategies, having to gain speed to do a 360 to get a master landing and then come back over, I think shows that there's really interesting potential for RPG or puzzle maps with this, but actually playing stunt mode to do stunts is not where it's at. I don't think that's what this mode is going to be best at. So yeah, that's the video. Just want to help people out. Bye.